All right, so the next thing we're going to do is be putting on our elevons to the body of the airplane. We're going to need to cut some materials for this, so there's a little bit of prep work before you can get them on. I have them right here so I can measure them. They should be exactly the same size, so yep. Put it on here. I'm just using the grid that's on my cutting mat. Make a mark. Can also use that to really get things square. And I'm going to need 4 5-centimeter pieces, or 4 2-inch pieces, however you want to look at it. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, I'm going to cut off this bit of unevenness at the bottom. And 4 5-centimeter or 2-inch strips. Also, to prep, I need our extreme tape, and this time, instead of cutting 5-centimeter pieces, we're going to cut 2.5 centimeter or 1-inch pieces. And again, we need 4 of them. So I lay down my 2-inch tape. And you can use your straight edge if you want. I can eyeball it pretty well with this grid. Party time. That's the right one. Sure could use some tweezers. There they are. And we'll pull off our first piece. Gonna go ahead and put it on my Elevon first. Half on, half off. And while I've got it off the plane, if I've got some excess, I'm going to trim it, make things nice and neat. Do the same on this end. There we go. Now, this gets a little tricky. I need a weight. That'll do. So make sure you're putting the right one on the right side. I'm going to be using the end point to line it up. I will have the Elevon flexed a little bit down, and then I'm just barely going to have a thin line of daylight. And if you have warped your Elevons during the laminating process, this is where you're going to find out. And this one went on great, so no need to reset it. I'll flip it and do the bottom. All right, other side. And same thing, flex down. Looks nice and straight. Just a tiny bit of daylight. Hopefully that tape will just kind of catch. And there you go. If you've got too much daylight in there, it will, the hinge will be too long and weird things will happen. If you don't have any daylight in there, you may get a lot of resistance in your servos. That one looks really good. All right, a little trimming to do on this end. And time for some laminate. Grab our piece we made earlier. Get it right where we want it. I'll flex my Elevon down a little bit. Maybe add my weight back to here. And then just get that hinge one good time, get things tacked down. And then do the top. And the bottom. You can trim this little excess. I'm just going to iron it right in. Just like that. Same on this end, just iron it in. Make sure you got a nice good seal on there. Whoop, you're not, where are you going? You can get back down there. Good. Now you can do the bottom, or we can just go ahead and get the top done on this side, don't matter. But we're going to be putting this laminate on both sides of this extreme tape. This not only adds another composite layer to the hinge, which by the way, this hinge construction, I have never, knock on wood, have never seen it break or tear, even a little bit. But not only does it add some more strength to the hinge, but it has that UV protective factor in the laminate as well, which will keep that extreme tape from drying out and yellowing and getting all nasty. Maybe like you've seen a piece of duct tape before do in the sun. This will keep that from happening. It'll keep your decals from fading too. Yeah. All right, getting there, folks. Starting to look like an airplane. Same thing on the bottom. Just find your halfway point. Get it good and tacked down. And this seam right here on this side of the wing, I tell you, if any laminate is going to come loose on the plane right away, it's going to be this flap, this seam that I'm doing right now for the Elevon on the bottom of the wing. Not a big deal. Just if you don't have a covering iron or some kind of iron, any kind of iron, you can use a clothing iron. Just make sure that's all you use it for. when you get loose stuff, man, you gotta iron it right back down. If you end up getting dirt and such in it, then it won't stick back down when you finally do get around to ironing it. So a little bit of excess here. I'm going to trim this. You know, it's just whatever mood you're feeling in. Do I want to trim it? Do I want to iron it down? That was so little. I just felt like trimming it. So look at that. Whoop. Hey. Oh, we need that to relax. So chill out, Elevon. So I am going to be flexing it down as I apply a bunch of heat to the hinge until I feel like it's chilling out. Laying flat. There you go. That's how that's supposed to work. All right, laminated the top of this one. Need to laminate the bottom. Last piece. Again, this is that pesky seam that always seems to come up since it's into the wind and into the ground when you're landing. So make sure you seal it down good. And if it comes out in flight, check for it every now and then. Don't forget to look at the bottom of your plane sometimes. Get that thing ironed back down. Before it actually becomes a problem. Everything's fixable, remember that. So far, anyway. All right. So I just need this guy to relax. All right, we got an airplane. Next thing I'm going to do is going to be start cutting my radio slot. I do kind of a different servo installation. I'm actually going to put my servos down here and have the control linkages square to the hinge versus putting them out here and having them at an angle to the hinge. I like this geometry better. The plus is the geometry, the shorter push rods. Minuses are it's actually going to be a little aft of CG, so definitely something you need to take into account when you're doing the last step, which is setting your battery up. So we'll be testing for CG and lateral CG later on when we do that. So next thing, we're going to start cutting.